Hi, this is Lee Phillips. I'm an attorney and I want to talk about trusts, actually living revocable trusts, for 2 seconds. It's called living because you establish it while you are alive. It's revocable because you can revoke it at any time. And there'll actually be language in the trust that talks about how you revoke it, you can amend it, you can do whatever you want with it. So you need to find that language in the document in order to determine whether it is in fact a living revocable trust or not. If it says it's irrevocable, then it's going to be an irrevocable trust. And we'll talk about revocable and irrevocable trusts in another YouTube video. But for now, the living revocable trust is something that you're going to use as an estate planning tool primarily to avoid probate. It's a probate avoidance tool. Now that means you have to set up the trust, but it also means that you have to use the trust during your lifetime. Because if you don't make it so that the trust owns the bank account, the trust owns the house, the trust owns the brokerage account, then when you die, we haven't avoided probate because those assets are still in your name, and in order to get a dead person's name off of the deed or the brokerage account or to get into the bank account, we have to have a court order. And that's the probate process. So we move the assets over into the trust while you're alive. Then when you die, the trust avoids the probate. And it works very well. It avoids a lot of expenses because probate's expensive. The court has to oversee everything and the lawyer's always standing by your side. And you may not want to do that. Use a living trust. Now, there is an argument that the trust costs more. So we have an expense today in order to save an expense in the future. The question is, and you're going to have to balance this, is the expense today worth the expense in the future? And for most people with a reasonable sized estate, the answer is yeah. It's better to get the trust, the living revocable trust, and avoid the probate. And of course the trust then talks about how the assets are going to be distributed when the individual dies to the different beneficiaries, and the trustee will take care of that on behalf of you or the deceased person. So it works really very well, and I quite like living revocable trusts.